This module, Module 4, covers research skills that we expect you to use to complete this course and use in other courses in your college education. To successfully complete it, work your way through each of the three units of this module and always check the calendar for due dates and complete each of the assignments by clicking the links below. Let's look at each one of the units individually more closely. The first unit is the Connect, Collaborate, Create unit. This will cover basic research skills that you can use in any course. It consists of 6 sections, and each section is set up the same way. You will have one or more book pages of information to read through, and then a short 10-point quiz to take on that material. Each of these sections you are expected to go through very quickly. Okay, they're designed for you to complete quickly and not spend too much time on. But they do contain information that you should be using in all your other courses in college. And remember, okay? Unit 2 is the annotated bibliography. Another requirement of this course is for you to learn to use the library resource we have on hand to complete your projects. To do that, you can create an annotated bibliography. Now, what is that? A bibliography is a list of sources, books, journals, websites, periodicals, etc. one has used in researching a topic. Bibliographies are sometimes called references, as in APA formatting, or works cited for MLA formatting, depending on the style that you use. For all our papers, remember, it's APA, so you'll call it a references page. Such a list will include the bibliographic information of each source, like the author, the title, the publisher, so on and so forth. An annotation is a summary and an evaluation of that article. So an annotated bibliography consists of the APA reference entry of the source, a summary, and an evaluation of each. Okay. So for this assignment in more detail, what you need to do is pick one of the essays that you worked with before and that you enjoyed, either the short story persuasive essay or the play persuasive essay, and read 4 of the articles on that work from the lists below for your annotated bibliography. This way you get to know the work in more detail. The lists are listed here on the side. They're also found at the end of the material here in the unit. You've got the tab for the short stories, you've got the tab for the plays. Let's say you wanted to work on, you picked your short story, persuasive essay, and you wrote it on the topic of are men or women more liberated today than they were in Kate Chopin's Time and Story of an Hour. You would then click Kate Chopin's link here for Story of an Hour. Notice the big notation in red that I provide the citation information that you need to create your citation, but it's not in APA format. So before submitting it to your paper, including it in your paper, you need to put it in APA format. And the videos to do that are included in the next section. But say you picked your short story paper to write on, and it's the Kate Chopin Story of an Hour topic. When you click that link, you will find a list of articles, at least four, sometimes more. These are very specific, very focused articles written by people who really, really, really like these works. They have a specific argument they want to make, and it's your responsibility to read through each of these articles. And I prepare for this, they are long ones. Um, Read through them, understand them, and then summarize and evaluate four of them from this list. Okay. Let's go back to this page. Now, a summary. To create a summary, you need to provide the reader with the major points of the article and answer these questions. What are the main arguments this writer is making in this article? What points does he want to make to prove those arguments? Okay. What topics are covered? If someone asks you what this article is about, what would you say? Okay. That's what the summary is. A restatement in your own words of the author's main ideas. And when you summarize, you record the author's main points and major supporting details in your own words. Okay. It answers the question, what is this piece about? Okay. And you just answer that question. Comments like, I think he, she means, do not belong in the summary. Those are in the evaluation. Okay. Different. So here in the summary, include only the author's main points and major supporting details, only the author's ideas. Don't change the author's meaning. You just give whatever the author is trying to say, okay, in your own words. Right? The opening sentence of a summary should include the author's name and title of the article. Okay, and these are all articles that you are going to be picking from, so the format for that will be the same. And it should also include the author's focus, purpose, and or argument. So right off the bat in your summary, you'll tell me what you think the author is trying to do here. To move smoothly through the summary, repeat the author's name with a present tense verb. For example, McNeil also explains, or Soto continues by describing, or Jones goes on to show. So you don't create a group of sentences that are saying, he says, then he says, he says, he says, he says. Intersperse the author's name between your sentences to create a paragraph that's more interesting, like you've been doing all along. But it's easy to forget when you're doing a summary like this. Submit each summary by creating at least one double-spaced full page's worth of summary of each article. Okay, regular margins, regular size 12 font, one page's worth, one full page's worth. Now, double-spaced, that might go to one or more pages of paper. Okay. So keep that in mind. It's at least a full page's worth of material of summary. Submissions less than that will immediately lose half the points. Okay. There is a link to a very effective video discussing how to read a scholarly article. Please watch that. There's also a video discussing summarizing and evaluating an article. So it'll go over what I'm going through here again. in an interesting way. So watch that as well. Here is a sample outline of the article summary in outline form. Okay, an introduction with the author's title and general topic of the article, the author's research question or approach to the topic, the author's thesis, the author's main points, explain some of the key points and how they support the thesis, provide a key example or two that the author uses as evidence to support these points, and then a conclusion, review how the main points work together to support the thesis, and how does the author explain the significance or implication of his or her article. You're always telling me in the summary what the author is doing. You're not evaluating it. You're never going to tell me in the summary how well he does it. That's for the evaluation, okay? So after you summarize it, I expect you to evaluate it. Because these articles are very focused, they are trying to make a point and make an argument which you can evaluate. You're going to tell me how well these writers succeeded in doing that, okay? A helpful way to create your evaluation is to go through the points that you created in your summary and evaluate each one of the summary points. That way you don't miss anything. And what do you tell me about them? Which points of the argument in the article worked well and why? Which failed to convince you and why? Is it a useful article to add to your paper? Why or why not? What is the goal of this article? Okay, what did the writer want to do? And did the writer achieve the goal? And if not, where did the writer fall short? Okay. Was the article written to persuade the reader to do something? To inform the reader or to prove something? Okay. Answer those questions and tell me how well the writer did or didn't do it. Okay, the goal of the summary and the evaluation is, if I don't have time to actually read the article itself, I can read your summary and evaluation and know everything I need to know to use the article, okay? To know whether I need to use the article or not without having to actually go and read it myself. So the evaluation also consists of other major points besides the purpose. Evaluation of the organization and the content, whether it's up to date or not. So you look at when it was written, its usefulness, how useful is it for your paper? Authority, is the author an expert in his field? I'll answer that right now for you guys. In all these articles, yes, they all are. So it's just how well they are doing what they said they were going to do from there on. Okay. So review all of this every time you try to create a summary or an evaluation of your article. Make sure you've included all these points. Again, each evaluation should be at least one full double-spaced pages worth of evaluation for each article. Right. So submit a document with your 4 evaluations into the evaluation Dropbox, and just like you submitted your 4 summaries into the article summary Dropbox. Unit 3, the literary research. Right. Now that you've summarized and evaluated the articles, it's time to include references from them into the essay that you originally wrote. Okay. The material in this unit is going to show you a different way of doing research. Unlike previous research projects where you simply reported objectively on assigned outside research, in high school we called these book reports, where you just said, here's what this person wrote, and this is what it said. That's a high school book report, or largely what you did in the summary. Now we're going to do something different, okay? We've been building up your argument, your opinion throughout this course, from informal discussion topics to formal papers. And now we're going to add one more layer to this argument that we're helping you create by adding quotes from these articles that are written by the professionals that you've just finished summarizing and evaluating to that paper. Okay, you're adding it to your original essay. You will not take anything out of the original essay. You will keep every single word you wrote, and you will add to it quotes from these articles. Okay. Here's a brief example. If in your original essay you wrote, Kate Chopin is the author of the short story, The Story of an Hour. In your research paper, if you were turning this essay into a research paper, you'd say, Kate Chopin, whom John Doe calls a, quote, proto-feminist. You list the source there in text documentation, according to APA, is the author of the short story, Story of an Hour. See how in your research paper now, you still have the exact same sentence that you had before, plus the reference to John Doe's source by adding a quote from it, okay? It's what was there before in the original essay, plus the added quotation, okay? Even if a statement in the article that you read in these articles may say the opposite of your argument, you can still use it to your benefit in your paper by diffusing it, including it, but diffusing it by saying something like, unlike John Doe, who believes X, whatever that is. What is really going on is you bring it back to your original argument, okay? So you've now included John Doe, who believes something different than what you wrote, but you've diffused it by setting it up so that the reader knows what John Doe says, but knows why your argument is better, okay? So you can use any quote that you find that fits in your paper somehow, whether it agrees or disagrees with your argument. Last but not least, the citation for each article included below each link. The one I showed you in red, remember this. When you click each article, you get the citation information here. I cut and pasted it in here the way it shows up in the articles, but it's not the APA format. You need to put it in APA format, okay? And to do so, I've included videos exactly on what you need to do to create in-text citations of those quotes, to include them in your paper, and how to create a reference page at the end of the paper that lists all those sources, those 4 articles, okay? Watch a video for each, set up your paper exactly the same way these videos tell you to. The first one you've seen already. It was the general APA format setting for your papers that you set up the original short story and play persuasive papers. I'm putting it here again. as I review, set your paper up according to these 3 videos, and you will do what you need to do. When you've finished your work, submit it to the research project Dropbox.